Is it a sin? I didn't know it was a sin. Is it something wrong? I asked the general audience. I didn't even know. I feel like, why not? Why not? As in, first marriage is not... You're telling me you're supposed to get it right the first time, always. It's not a guarantee is what I'm saying. And I feel like having that leeway, like, okay, I understand. I feel like the best if it was not a marriage plan for divorce, then it's allowed. Like, you generally went into the marriage wanting the best, living the rest of your life with them, but life happened. You did not plan to divorce them. You did not plan to leave them at any point. It just happened. I feel that can be a leeway, but if you entered with it in the mindset of tafika mbele tutaachana, and you brought the church into it, I feel that can be the point of conversation. The first one, obviously, you can get married, but the second one, I feel like it can be a point of conversation. I'm not really sure. Maybe you can elaborate.
Well, that's a really a doctrinal issue. Churches must have, and churches do have a position about that. Generally, it's assumed that there are three positions. The first position being the conservative, which is, if you divorce, no remarriage. Yeah. The second position is liberal. You can divorce and remarry in and out as long as it's not working for you. So that one is open door, as it were. The third position is sort of like a middle ground between the two. And so the third position assumes that if you get out of a marriage, you need to go through a period of support. One, to try and see whether it's possible to reconcile, and to ensure that you've exhausted all avenues of reconciliation, ensure that you've exhausted all avenues of resolving the conflict, as it were. That's and then once you have exhausted them all, then take time to go through a proper period of healing, because if you do not heal, then you're not ready for the next relationship, should you choose to go into a next relationship. So those are the three general positions churches have.
For that third option, what would be considered like the absolute, all plans failed? What kind of scenario can reach to that point where there's nothing that this can be worked on?
Well, I've seen individuals say, you know what, I no longer believe in God. So you trying to reconcile me to my wife or my spouse based on the Bible, I no longer believe in the God of the Bible. So then that God has no authority over my life. So then it stops being an issue. So that's one of the reasons that would make people not reconcile. Another reason is one party could have moved on and gotten engaged into another relationship. So you're pursuing a reconciliation is a non-starter, as it were.
They already moved on.
So there are different reasons why that would happen.
So at what point do you feel that people should, fight rather than give up?
First of all, if there is violence...
not fight.
No, seriously. No, on a serious note. As long as there is physical violence...
Okay, I understand.
As long as there is actual, real physical violence in a relationship, the first thing to do is leave. As long as there's a real threat to your life, leave. You can pursue reconciliation, you can pursue conversation, but from a place of safety. Do not try to do that when your life is in danger. That's the first thing. Yeah. Secondly, when to fight and when to hold on. It's a very individual conversation, because whereas I am ready to hold on, my tolerance level and your tolerance level are very different, and there are very individual dynamics that go into that. But I do also believe that when I have exhausted all resources to make this work, then incidentally, here is the thing about marriage conversations. Marriage conversations are very complex. Mm-hmm. And the reason marriage conversations are complex is because marriage has two complexities. It has two human beings. Human beings are complex.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's always dynamics. So just because a relationship or a conflict is not being resolved now does not mean it will not be resolved tomorrow. So whereas today may be a place of very, very deep and very hard conflict and seemingly irreconcilable, does not necessarily mean it will always be that way even tomorrow.
Yeah. Honestly, can't wait to be married. I say that with I say that with joy. I can't wait to be married. It feels nice. Yeah.
Marriage is a very interesting space. By the way, when a marriage is working and when a marriage is healthy, it really is a place where you can experience the fullness of what God would have family be. It's a place for most amazing environment to experience personal growth. It's a most conducive environment to experience the broadening of your interests and capabilities. It is also the most of safest environment to even make mistakes. When marriage is working, it's a beautiful, beautiful space to be in. And I am convinced that it is also one of the places that God has created because marriage has a capacity for character development that nothing else has. And I don't mean character development.
Yeah, we hear character development.
I don't mean character development in the negative connotation that has, but I'm talking about character development in the space of growing into the best version of who God would have you be.
I feel like we have become so disillusioned. Okay, disillusioned with the idea of marriage because it's always seen as a battlefield. It's always seen as keeping chains upon yourself. It feels like you are stopping yourself from experiencing life, or at the same time you are entering yourself into a space of being closed in, and it's difficult to reconcile that with the idea that it's not bad to want to be married. I feel currently that's because people having children outside of marriage, and since it works, there's no reason to get married. You can be in a relationship, have children, live in the same, but there's no need for you to take to the altar and bring God into it.
The Bible says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Yeah? Jesus says that. Yeah? My yoke is easy and my burden is light. It means that there's an alternative yoke and there's an alternative burden. An alternative yoke that is not easy and an alternative burden that is not light. So when we say marriage is difficult, being not married is not easy. So being single is hard. Being married is hard. Ultimately, we choose our hard.
Pick your poison and live with it. Pass it.
However, let me give you an example with games. I like football. Okay, so what are the basic rules of football?
Okay.
Okay, pick a sport.
Yeah, it's football.
Let's start with football. What are the basic rules of football?
Hit the ball inside the net. It's a goal. The more goals you get, you win.
Can you hit the ball with your hand?
No, with your foot or your head or your chest or any other part of the body except your hand.
Okay.
Basically.
Is there a rule onto the size of the ball?
Yes.
Okay.
In certain aspects.
Is there a rule as to Is there a space within which you're confined to play the game?
Yes, the stadium, the length of the field, the height of the grass, the distance between goals and the lines and all that.
And there are markings in the field.
Yes.
Okay, so when I come to the football game, I'm supposed to play within those confines.
Yes.
Can I come to the football game and say, you know what? I know these confines, but me, I like hockey. I've come with my hockey stick. So I'm in the football pitch, but I want to play hockey. And I don't want to be controlled by the rules of football. I don't want to be controlled by the limitations of football. I can hit anyone because I'm with a hockey stick. In fact, your ball is too big. I've come with my own ball. And then I come in there and then I say, football doesn't work or football is a bad game.
Okay. Stop shouting. That's knowledge. Wow. Okay. I see the metaphor, huh?
Yeah. So if I come into a marriage, then I must ask myself, what did I commit myself into? By the way, this country has different options for entering marriage. You can have a Christian marriage. You can have a different religion, have different marriages. You can have a traditional marriage. Each is open. Each is available. Each has its own operating formula. So you choose what to enter into. And therefore, you cannot come in there. You should not come in there and try to... here's the thing. We came in together. We came in knowing that we are both coming in to play football. We both came in knowing we believe in football. We want to play football together. But then, somewhere along the way, the rules changed. And you didn't even tell me that the rules changed. So me, I'm here with my football kit. I'm wondering, why do we have two balls? Why is one ball small? And if we are going to get into a marriage relationship, can we count the cost?
I'm just going to leave that there. I feel like that should be the final statement. Everything I say should be said cut. That should be the final statement, honestly. It was amazing. Thank you. Wow. Thank you.